Hey, have you been to a Blockbuster video lately? So sad. May they rest in peace. I miss Blockbuster. I spent many Friday nights there. What happened to them? They didn't make it. They're not around anymore because they just didn't adapt with all the new changes in technology, right? In fact, they had opportunity to. At one point, a group of entrepreneurs went to Blockbuster and said, we have a new technology to help people watch movies streaming over the internet. And we think this is the future. And Blockbuster said, no, thank you. We have old, proven, tried methods. We're going to stick with them. And so these entrepreneurs went and started the company on their own anyway, and they called it Netflix. Yeah. Two quick thoughts. How do we learn to adjust to all the change that's going on? How do we adapt to it? First is don't be afraid of change. Don't be afraid of new. Remember, think about this. Everything in your life right now, and especially think about the things you really like in your life right now, were new at some point. They required you to adapt, to let go of old things, whether it's parenting, marriage, where you live, where you work, even your hobbies. They're all things that at one point needed a learning curve from you and change and your adaptation, but it was worth it, right? It was worth it. When Jesus showed up on the scene, he says, hey, I kind of bring some new wine, and your old wineskins, your old ways of thinking aren't going to hold it anymore. I have new insights into these old laws that you used to think about, new ways to love people. And people need to adapt to that. Second is don't be so afraid of failure. This one's really hard for me. We got to get comfortable just trying stuff. Learn to view it as experimenting or innovating, which I'm reading a great book about right now. Learning to be our own R&D department. In this past year, I really had to stretch myself and try new things at my job and at home. And it was hard. And some of them didn't really work out, honestly. And some of it did. And on the ones that didn't work out, I'm working really hard to not view it as failure that I beat myself up about, but instead learn to laugh about it and say, hey, it was worth a shot, worth trying, and even better, to learn from it. Then I don't even need the word failure in my vocabulary because all of it was an opportunity to learn. That's how Blockbuster and Tower Records and even sometimes churches become irrelevant because they don't adapt. And us individually, we don't just become irrelevant, we become constantly discontent, longing for the good old days when we won't adapt. And listen, it doesn't mean that we have to just let go of everything from the past. It's really important to hold on to traditions and even ancient spiritual practices and past learnings. But will we adapt? It's been so cool to watch people adapt in this hard COVID season, find new ways to do birthday parties and anniversaries and weddings and to teach their kids. At church, we've tried to find new innovative ways to serve the community and bless people. Jesus was always sending out his followers to try things, to take steps of faith. Sometimes if they failed, it didn't go well, but he always encouraged them, coached them through it, and he always said, my grace is sufficient for you. God calls you to try new steps of faith, and his grace is always there when you need it.